I'll go ahead and I'll wait a little minute or so, because I already know what it's about to be, y'all. I'll give y'all a second. Mm-hmm. Hey. All right. So this is so. Oh, I said I was gonna take these off. Whoops. It gets the aesthetic better without the glasses on. So yeah, I just want to give everybody a few minutes to get here. If you have to leave and come back, or if you want to stay the entire time, that's fine. I'm not offended either way. Like, I understand it. I'm gonna be talking, so you know, yeah. So do what you need to do. Get a snack or don't, whatever you feel like doing. Yeah. So I'm just gonna give it like another. We'll say I don't want too much dead space. So I'm gonna give it like another 15 to 30 seconds, and then we'll get started. So thank you to Skiritter7 for joining me in the live stream. I don't want to say it wrong and say it's something offensive. So yeah, Skiritter7. Shout out to you. Thank you for being the first person to show up. Yeah. All right. Hey, y'all know, you know how it goes, right? Yeah. All right, here we go. All right. So, what I wanted to talk about today is where the sound is headed and what I'm planning for this year. I know I've been a little mum's the word since I released Flux. Flux was very intense, a process to release. I had merch to go along with it. I was gonna have a physical version of it, but that felt like a little bit too much, given where I'm currently at and given what my focus currently is, which is more on making the music as refined as it can be, really kind of differentiating myself on the basis of like having quality music, like bringing it back to the old school focus of that. And yeah, so in that process, I've been spending a lot of time reflecting. I've been spending a lot of time running in place, is what I like to think of it as. And over the course of the past few months, I've been going through a quarter life crisis, as I come to understand it, as me and my therapist have come to discuss it. I've been experiencing what is considered a quarter life crisis, or an existential crisis related to like being in your mid-20s to mid-30s. It's a common term for the mixture of like existential angst and anxiety that is, to me, very valid to have at this time. And in my situation, the particulars of what I'm experiencing with finishing my tenure at Cal State Fullerton, getting my undergraduate in decision science, business administration with an emphasis in decision science, all while trying to make my fourth album, which is what I'm working on now, and releasing Flux, making sure that I'm, uh, what is it? Applying for internships and being present for my partner and being present for my friends and family, being a good person all the while, keeping an eye out on my self improvement. All these different focuses have been consistent focuses of mine. These aren't new things, but the intensity and the weight and the mandate that I felt to really be the best that I can be in all those different areas has really it's really kind of like worn on me. Like there would be times where I could step away from the tumult of everything and I would actually have like a little escape. Like, and all it took was me like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk, or okay, I'm gonna go to Six Flags, because I love Six Flags. I love me a roller coaster, so I would go to Six Flags, something like that. But now it's like, not, life is hidden where it's like it doesn't matter, if I have a joint, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if I go, for a ride or whatever. The problems, the stresses, the anxieties are what they are. And the only way through them is through them at this point. I understand that. I recognize that. But even though you recognize that, or even if you're a person who can recognize that, the quarter life crisis fucking sucks. There's almost like this, I don't want to call it dread. I think it's called angst, where you're just not sure. If you're making the right moves, you're making the moves from, in my case, that are optimal as best as you know. You know, I'm making the best decisions that I can with the resources that I have. And that's really all I can do. That's really all I should expect of myself. And that's been really hard to reinforce and hold myself accountable to on my own over these past few months. I mean, the quarter life crisis it's kind of creeped up as I turned 25. I'm currently 27. Right around the time I turned 25, I started to feel the anxieties of, okay, am I establishing myself well enough? Am I moving into directions that I'm truly passionate about? Am I taking action in the areas of my life where I can truly be impactful to other people in the best ways that I know how? Like Billie Eilish said on her track, "What Was I Made For?" I was really going through that questioning process of identity, of affirming my identity, of understanding what it was that I liked about myself, outside of what other people liked about me, having an intrinsic value of myself and an intrinsic store of value of who I am and what I have to offer. That has been basically the dilemma of the past, I say predominantly 6 months. It was a thing during the last semester, but during this particular semester, it has been overwhelming at times. Like, there are times where it's just like there's so much negativity that comes along with trying to be pragmatic, because that's how I was raised, is to be pragmatic. I wasn't raised to really be idealistic. I know I'm an artist. Like a lot of you see my art and you say it's so, you see it as so experimental and pushing the boundaries and stuff. And to me, I'm the most pragmatic person that I know, I'm the most pragmatic person that I know. I'm not really pie in the sky. I'm not really idealistic about stuff. But that's also had the byproduct of me not necessarily being my own champion and being my own best friend, which you have to be when you're going at this independent. You kind of have to be your own best friend, and you have to have an internal understanding and store of value of who you are and what you offer. And I didn't have that. I've kind of been meeting other people's metrics up until this album, up until Flux even. I'd been meeting other people's metrics, or I hadn't found the balance between, okay, this is what I value, this is what they value, this is the middle ground. We can agree to disagree, but I still take your constructive feedback and will become better with it. It's taken me a while to get to that point on my own, but I've been getting there, especially over these past few months as I've been dealing with this crisis. At the beginning, I kind of led into it with a lot of negativity, but what I wanted to emphasize from that is that I'm finding a lot of strength and confidence and self-assuredness actually through this whole experience, which I never really expected. I mean, there were times where I felt like this negative in the past. It was so hard for me to see the positives of the experience that I was having. It was so hard for me to really, I hate to say it, but being grateful almost was like a burden. This time around, I feel so grateful. Even in the midst of the crisis, I've told my partner every day, I'm so grateful to have them. I'm so grateful to have my friends and family in my life. I'm so grateful to have the support systems that I have, because without those, I would definitely have spiraled out and definitely would have burnt out a second time, like I did back in 2016. So it's been chaotic. I won't even call it chaotic. It's just been complex. There's been a lot of parts of it that have made me feel more confident in who I am, have made me feel more assured in who I am. If there's any positive byproduct of the quarter life crisis, as I've seen thus far, it's been that I feel a lot more confident about who I am, and I'm not done with it yet. I still wake up every day and I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to have confidence in what happens next.